So how many of you feel you're on that long and windy road? Right? Yeah, a few of you? Yeah. So where are you going? Isn't that the question? We're all on this spiral journey of evolution. And when the song said, "Open the door," what's on that other side of this beautiful journey of evolution? I would have to say, up there, well, let me tell you a little quote, a little poem by my favorite mystical Sufi, Rumi. And it reminded me of, boy, on this journey of awakened consciousness, if we were truly awake and aware, what would it be like? And this poem came to mind. Rumi said, beyond wrongdoing and right doing, beyond wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. And when the soul lies down in that grass, the world becomes too full to talk. Language, words, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. That's what I feel when I go that long and windy road in consciousness and get to the place where I feel awakened and at one with all life. Now, I think right now, at the stage of our human evolution, it's not possible, maybe for a few people, but it's not possible to live in that state all the time. But it is possible for us to be conscious and aware of where we are and what we need to do to adjust ourselves to be in the upward spiral journey. Now, I don't know if you know where you are on that journey, but Anais Nin, a beautiful French-American writer and author and spiritual, I don't know if she's a seeker or what she was, but very spiritual. She has a quote that always reminds me, and she said, "We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are." So to know where you are on this journey of awakening, it's about take a look at the world around you and see how you're feeling about this world, maybe how you're judging this world. And it'll tell you where you are. Reminds me of a little story about a traveler who went to an ancient city, and there was a gatekeeper sitting there. And the traveler comes up and looks to the gatekeeper and said, "What kind of people do you have in this city?" And the gatekeeper took a breath and he said, "Well, tell me, what kind of people were in the city you came from?" "Oh," he said, "terrible, judgmental, angry, selfish, just awful. And the politicians greedy, and it was just awful." And the gatekeeper was just shaking his head and said, "Yes, those are the people that you'll meet here." So the fellow went off. Not long after that, another traveler came to the gatekeeper's gate, big pack on his back, horse all loaded with things. And he too asked the same question, "What kind of people do you find in this city?" Gatekeeper said, "Well, tell me about the people in the city you came from." The man said, "They were just wonderful, delightful people, loving, caring. We took care of each other. Even the politicians wanted to give their best and do the best for the people. I didn't want to leave, but my job took me here." And the gatekeeper said, "Yes, that's the kind of people that you'll find here. Wherever we go, there we are. Because no matter what, we find what we're looking for. We find what we're looking with. It's a journey of this awakening. So you can just look at the world around you and see, so that's where I am." So this morning, what I'd like us to do, there's so many ways to turn on the awakened consciousness, all the spiritual practices we have to keep us on the high road, to keep us in the upper room, as they say, the upper room of consciousness, not looking without, but looking from within. How do we keep on that journey? Well, the first thing I thought of is, we need to really think about shifting from the consciousness of, what do I get out of this? To how can I be used? Because when we realize that we are really the open space, the open vessel, the vehicle for God to fulfill itself, life to fulfill itself, where we are that open energy to be used by God in a co-creative process, but to be used by Spirit, our whole consciousness will change. Because then we're not looking at what we can get out there, but what we can give from in here. And so today I thought, turn on the AC. Means to me, cool off just for today, judgment. Now we have judging minds, and they're beautiful, they're creative, they're just amazing machines. But they're amazing that they can judge and analyze. Now I'm not talking about the judgment that evaluates, this is better for me to eat than this, except when chocolate's concerned. I'm not talking about that mind that really evaluates what's better, the art we love better, the things, no, that's mind we need to be unique and expressive. I'm talking about the judgmental mind that condemns, that's pointing the finger and blaming someone else while the three fingers are pointing back at us. And that's the mind I'm talking about. And it's the mystical, magical master teacher Jesus that said, do not judge so that you might not be judged. Well, what does that mean? He goes on to say, the measure you give is the measure you will get. Now, what we teach in our science of mind is we live in a cause and effect universe. And the cause of our life is the energy we use on our beliefs, our feelings, and our thoughts and our actions that we put out in the world. And because this is a cause and effect universe, it wants to balance things. So what we put out there, we'll get back. Jesus knew this 2,000 years ago, so this is nothing new. Do you get it yet? Okay, just wondered. So he said, why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye? Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye when you don't see that big, fat, gigantic, huge, humongous log in your own? That wasn't Jesus' language, but anyway. We have the log in our eye. The log is our old, limited beliefs, patterns, habits, all that stuff that keeps us separate. It could keep us separate from loving ourselves. It could keep us separate from loving one another. But it's that log that keeps us separate from the good that's ever present. Now, if we know we reap what we sow, the evolved soul never condemns anything and just realizes that each and every one of us is on a journey of experience. Did you get that? That's the evolved mind. When we get to that field and lie down in that grass, we're not condemning or judging anything. We're just realizing we're at one with it all. And as we hear all over the place, we'll keep having the lessons, we'll keep suffering until we learn. Dang it. How many of you have had those lessons a few hundred times in your life and you're just not over it yet because you haven't learned? And as soon as we learn, as soon as we decide to do it differently, to think differently, to awaken to the next level of our evolution, we're going to have to suffer. And I'm tired of suffering. Are you? Yeah, good. I wasn't ready for a pity party, but... So, I really want us to think today about where do we have our judgment, because some of them, as Ernest Holmes said, judgment and the kind of judgment that condemns are like shackles of bondage that keep us stuck in the same old stuff. That's why we keep going around in circles with the same experience. And it doesn't mean you have to be judging someone else. You can be judging yourself. You can be saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not enough. When here we're made as a vehicle and vessel for God to know itself, we're equipped with everything we need to be that. But if we're not owning and recognizing it, if we don't have faith and belief in that is so, not going to happen. We have to have faith and belief that we are divinely made, that we are perfect right where we are, or it just isn't going to happen. I mean, this stuff, I told you, it was thousands and thousands of years ago. This stuff, the ancient texts and religions teach this stuff, and we're still doing it. In Jesus' time, the scribes and the Pharisees brought to Jesus, because they were testing this guy. They didn't really believe him. You know, all his stuff, the kingdom of heaven, all this stuff. They were testing him, and they brought to him a woman, drug her in. God, I'm glad times have changed. But anyway, drug her in and said, Jesus, here is a woman who has committed adultery. In the law of Moses, we can stone her to death. I don't know if to death, but we can stone her. And they looked at him and said, what are you going to do about it? Well, in that day, now girls, we need to be happy with this, the women were property of the men. 2,000 years, at least we've gotten that far. But anyway, Jesus said, which we've all heard this, but I really want us to think about it today. If we're really thinking about releasing, letting go, discarding our judgment, taking off the shackles that keep us tied to the same old experiences of going round and round. He said, anyone amongst you who is without sin, you may throw the first stone. Every one of them walked away. They left because they knew. They knew they were not without sin, because sin, missing the mark, is the experience we all have to learn. But I think the second part of this quote is the most, equally as important. Jesus was there with the woman alone, and he said, I do not condemn you. Now go on your way and do not sin again. Go on your way and learn your lesson. You get that? We need to learn our lesson. We need to be getting these experiences without judging ourselves for doing it wrong. What am I to learn? What am I to know? How am I to grow here? And what helps me personally in this journey of evolution, to keep on the right track, to keep wanting to be the vessel and vehicle for the ever-expressing good for me, is to keep my passions, my dreams, the intention for my life alive. And it's this week, on August 28th, 51 years ago, in 1963, that Martin Luther King gave his I Have a Dream speech. 51 years ago. And you know what? That speech, I just listened to it last night. I wish the recordings were a little better, but it still just turns me inside out. And it's not just because of the words he said. It's because of the passion and commitment he had to life. And he was willing to do whatever it took. And when we have a dream, a passion, to understand, how am I to be used? That's a question. How am I to be used right now? We can keep the dream alive. Whoops. So, I have edited, how bold of me to edit Martin Luther King's speech, but I wanted it shorter. I won't say I edited it, but I condensed it. That's a better word. I condensed it. And I've added just a couple little things to make it a little more contemporary. Just a little. But I want you to feel this. And I want you in this reading to evaluate where you think we are as a society, as a nation, and as a world in manifesting this beautiful dream that didn't just belong to Martin Luther King. It belongs to all of us. A few different words, a little different focus, but it belongs to all of us. He said, I say to you today, my friends, even though we face the difficulties of this day and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up in consciousness, rise up and live out the true meaning of the creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men, all women, all people are created equal. I have a dream that my 4 little children, and all children, will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, their faith, their sexual preferences, their life experiences, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today that the glory of God will be revealed, and we shall all see it together. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our world with a beautiful symphony of brotherhood and sisterhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to love one another, and to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free, all of us, one day. And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village, every hamlet, every state, every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black, white, Gentiles, Jews, Protestants, Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last. Free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. I don't think this was just a dream for one man, one society. I think it's a dream for each and every one of us. So today, I want us to know that in order for this to happen, for us to rise above the judgment of this physical world, for us, we have to reach out to God. We have to reach and make that connection, whether it's through prayer, through action, whatever we do. We have to reach up, not out, but up, so we touch the good that's already present. Remember, an evolved soul condemns no one and just looks around and knows we are all on our journey of experience. So this will take action. And the first action, I would say, is just self-evaluation. Where do I need to take the log out of my own eye? So I can love myself, appreciate myself, forgive myself more, so I can share that with others. Where do I need to take that log out? And where am I bound up in shackles of bondage because of old habits and patterns that judge? Because that's the way it's always been done. That's what my family did. That's what my culture did. That's what did. That we can live in a new consciousness. And lastly, the biggest question of all. Where can I love more? And this quote was in my inbox this morning. And it's from Daniel Day Williams, a theologian, professor, and author. And oftentimes we think of love as being really passive. Love does not put anything or everything, love does not put everything at rest. It puts everything in motion. Wakes you up. Wakes up that passion, wakes up that desire, wakes us up. Love wakes us up. Love does not put everything at rest. It puts everything in motion. Love does not resolve every conflict. It accepts conflict as the arena in which the work of love is to be done. Right now in your life, think of an arena where there is conflict for you, because that's part of this journey of experience. Where is this conflict for you? And how are you being called to love more? Keep that in your mind and your heart. And just join me as we make that connection to something greater right now, as we reach up right now to experience more love, more life, more goodness, more self-appreciation, more self-forgiveness, more love and goodness for others, as we simply reach up in prayer right now and know together, without any question, just simply I know for each and every one of us that all our needs are met right now. There's nothing we don't have that we don't have here in the moment, whether either to experience or express or share everything we have. And right now in this moment, our job is to simply to expand our faith, to expand our openness to doing what needs to be done, to make the change, to accept the gift. Right now, it's knowing that we are here to be used, the open vessel and vehicle for the expression of God's infinite good, God's love. That we are here to reach up and let go the shackles of bondage, the jangling discord, to let it go, anything that separates us from the oneness that we are. I'm just simply knowing in this moment, as we join together in this prayer for freedom from condemnation, freedom from the bondage of separation, freedom from any self-loathing or any self-doubt, that we do so together, and the power of us together is so much greater than our individual parts, that we are here to support each other in the awakening for ourselves, because we are the example. And as we awaken, we allow others to do the same. As we accept our beautiful opportunity to be the vessel of spirit, we truly ignite and allow others to do the same. In any place in the world or in our lives where we see the conflict and the tension and the upset, just pour it. Just pour in the love. Pour in the understanding. Pour in the acceptance. Pour in the light of God's love right now, which is also our love in this moment. And just using the breath to feel in alignment with that infinite good on the upward spiral evolutionary journey of awakening. I'm going to invite you to open your eyes as we together know that we are here to do our part, to not sit still and be silent, but to get on our feet when we get out that door, to share the life that we are, and to absolutely know that we make a difference and that we are here for more, but not more stuff, more love, more light, more truth, more acceptance, more of all that we are meant to be. Are you ready to go with me? Yes. Good. Well, I know for each of us that this world is a much better place because we're in it. And I thank you all so much. God bless you, and so it is. Thank you.